Cool. So, Greg Hunter, Blue and Gold News. So, DerMarr, right? Let's get that straight. DerMarr or DerMarr or
DerMarr.
DerMarr. Make sure we get that straight. So, okay, your playing career is winding down. When did you think about getting into coaching? How did that come about?
I was actually still playing, and in 2016, Mick Cronin reached out to me, and he said you should come back and finish school and help me out with the guys. So I thought on it for a little bit, and I called him and told him, I'll be enrolling in school in 2017, and I'll be there to help him out.
And from there, did you say, I like this, I want to follow through? And then when Hugs calls you, what goes through your mind then?
Well, funny, Hugs told me years before that, but I was still so much into playing. He wanted me to come back here and basically finish school and I think be a GA. And but I was still playing at that time, like really playing. And then a few years later, it made more sense when Mick asked me to do it because I was winding down. And I knew I needed to get on the other side at some point, and I thought it was a good opportunity. And recently, when Hugs called me, it was a dream come true. I've been, trying to, I've been rooting for you guys in West Virginia for a long time and been trying to get with Hugs for a while now.
So we hear a lot of, we've seen Hugs for 16 years. Yeah. We hear stories of the Cincinnati days. You were on the bench for this last one. So is he the same? He's pretty intense, but he was even more so?
No, he's not the same. He's not the same. He's a lot more calm than he used to be.
John Antonic, WVUSports.com. This is a pretty fast transition. Walk us through the last few days. You get the call and you're basically here a couple days later.
Yeah. It is. Wow. Still trying to get caught up on a lot. I was preparing for a game in Cincinnati, and I get the call, and here I am, and now I'm trying to do all this paperwork. I'm trying to catch up with the team. I got an Auburn scout. I'm trying to find a place to live. Everything is happening pretty fast.
I guess the good thing is you play the system, so you know the system.
Yeah.
You know all of that part. That translates. That's no different, right?
No, I got to get back used to it because since I played in this system, I've played for a lot of teams, and I just got to get back used to it. But it's pretty much the same. Yeah, basically.
Now you pull Hugs. When Hugs went to K-State, he had the black Jumpman stuff and just put the logo over top. Did you do that with WV over top the UC stuff?
No, we was Under Armour at UC.
Coach Justin Jackson with the Dominion Post. So many years spent in the pros with men, other pros.
Yeah.
So, obviously, your years at Cincinnati was kind of an introduction, getting back to younger guys. But what's that transition been like for you? Because you haven't spent your whole life around the college game.
Right. These last few years, and the few years with Mick, and then the last few years with Coach Miller, has been great because most of my career was NBA basketball, and the college game is very different. So I've learned a lot from Mick, from Coach Cronin, and being around the guys again. And they all, they want to go where I've been. So they all listen to me and they all take to me pretty well. But learning the college game again that's been a big help.
And it seems like you're focusing mostly on the guards here. Is that?
Yeah. I feel like I can help them all. I've talked to a few of them. On the side, just, them picking my brain and asking me certain questions. But I was a guard, and I think I can help them all. But, that's where I was a pro.
Last question, recruiting,
Yeah.
Getting out on the road. And like you said, you've already got a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah.
You find a house and
Yeah.
stuff. But recruiting never stops.
No.
What's that going to be like for, that's something you've never done before, so are you taking pointers or
no,
or just be yourself, or how?
Well, with Cincinnati, I wasn't able to go out on the road, but they used me a lot in recruiting, and I got a lot of connections. I think that part will be easier for me because I know so many people, and being from the DC area, I got so many people that just want to help me. So all I gotta do is get out there, show my face, and try to get to know some of these kids. And some of these kids I already talked to. I just haven't seen them in person.
Yeah. Bob Bertzel, formerly the Cincinnati Enquirer, way long ago. Today, a bunch of papers around here. Anyway, what was it like? You're the National Player of the Year. You're in high school. You're, Mr. Big, and you all of a sudden wind up walking in on Huggins.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's got to be like either kick in the ass or a slap in the face. I don't know. I don't know which. But what was that like that year? And you've got all those more experienced big time players around you.
Well, I knew what I was getting myself into. And luckily, my senior year, I played for a coach named Max Good at Maine Central Institute. And he's very similar to Hugs, very intense. I was the best player in the country, but he doesn't care. He still cussed me out and told me how skinny and how soft I was every day. So that prepared me a lot going into, Cincinnati with Hugs. Some of the same stuff. I'm soft every day. I'm sorry. But to everybody else, I'm like the best thing in the world. But to him, he didn't care. But I knew he loved me. And we had a really, really good team. And I thought it was a smooth year.
So what sold you on there? I mean, you could have gone to almost anywhere.
Right. Well, the plan was always to go straight to the NBA. And I decided to pick a college late. And I guess a lot of the questions around me was my body physically ready for the NBA, and if I played hard. And if I going to Cincinnati, they had a great weight program. If you play for Hugs, you have no choice but to play hard. So I figured that would answer all those questions that they had about me.
It's probably like a day off going to the NBA then.
Yeah, it got easier. I tell Hugs, from MCI to Cincinnati to the NBA, it just got easier.
This team was on a 5-game losing streak, and you get on the bench. You take credit for the win on
No, I can't take credit, man. Them guys played their butts off, man.
What was it like, though? I mean, you basically get here, and first thing you do, you're right out on the floor for a game.
Yeah,
Not even
it's
any court time with them, anything really.
Yeah, it's wild. I had that one day before I was able to, get out there. And I looked at like 2 practices, but it was wild. I'm just happy, we won the game, and hopefully that can start a snowball. We start to run a few off.
Coach Wesley Shoemaker, BlueGoldSports.com. You said you've kind of talked with Huggins, and when this opportunity opened, you jumped on it.
Yeah.
How much have you been monitoring the West Virginia program over the past, let's say, year, and how much input have you had with Coach Huggins, maybe just in conversations before you came on?
Well, I've been monitoring since Coach been here. Me and a lot of his former players, even people at Cincinnati, they root for West Virginia just because Hugs is here. Like, he's still got a lot of influence, over there. So I've always, paid attention and rooted for West Virginia to win. And since I've got into coaching, I've always talked to Coach, but I've always talked to him about, man, I want to coach, and I want to, move up in my position. And even when Eric left, I called him right away. I'm like, man, Eric's leaving, what you going to do? And then, this opportunity came, and luckily, I'm pretty sure it's hundreds of people that, wanted this opportunity, and, I'm happy Coach gave it to me.
DerMarr, I'm Mike for 24/7 Sports. Not going to the NBA, that just delays the dream for years. I've been working on for like a lifetime, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get talked into that decision? How do you talk yourself into that decision? And then, you could have gone a number of directions and been the man on the campus, or gone to a team that maybe wasn't as demanding as waiting to Cincinnati.
Yeah.
You took the different route there too.
Yeah.
Just I guess bookending those decisions, going there, and then why not the NBA?
Well, the plan, like I said, the plan was always to go to the NBA. I wasn't even thinking about college from like sophomore and junior. Even my senior year, the NBA was always the plan. And then when it came down to it, just the people around me, they say, you can go out in the draft and maybe get drafted top 15 and probably move up if, you have good workouts. But they said I was too good of a talent to maybe not go where I deserved to go. So I guess we all collectively decided a year of school, maybe just to give the NBA scouts and GMs peace of mind that, I've worked on my body and that, I play hard. So it just made sense to go to a school, like that. And also Kenny Satterfield, who was a good friend of mine, he already signed to Cincinnati. He was blowing my phone up telling me, I need to come over there and play with them. And Kenyon was already there. I knew we would be a good team. And I could have went to a team not as good, not as demanding, averaged a whole bunch of points. And I still would have got drafted high probably. I didn't think that was a problem. It was just answering those questions that they had about me.
And And then your most recent job in Cincinnati, the titles are kind of broad too. What did you do there? What was your day-to-day like?
Yeah, player development was a title, but everybody over there is like a collective effort. Everybody does a little bit of everything within the rules. They used me a lot when guys came to campus. Also, just calling kids and texting kids, and with our kids, just building relationships. I help with scouting reports, and whenever guys go recruit, I'm able to be on the floor and work with some of the guys, and just basically just being there and just letting them know they have me to lean on when things not always going right, when they need advice, and just to help them out whichever way I can.
If I can one more, what have you seen from your new players? I know it's early, but what have you seen so far? And I guess beyond that, what do you see that maybe they don't see that you'd like to work on with them?
I'm not sure yet. I was talking to Emmett today and just basically telling him that like him guarding the kid from TCU, the point guard last game, and his length really bothering him. And I played that role. I'm 6'9", and I'm a guard, and I'm guarding these smaller guards in the NBA, and my length really bothered these guys. Like Allen Iverson's one of my best friends, and he always told me like you were like one of the two of the hardest guys that ever guarded me in the NBA just because of my length. And I told him that can really be him and Trey, him being that versatile, being able to guard multiple positions can really help our team, and it can help them, wanting to move on in their career, because that's the type of guys the NBA look for.
You traveled the world playing all over. Did you enjoy that experience? What was that like for a kid who from DC in China or wherever it was?
Right. I did enjoy it, but there were some places that weren't as good as others. I am glad. I wish I would have stayed longer in the NBA and played my whole career in the NBA, but I did think while I'm traveling all these places, I would have never got to travel these places had I my accident not happened, I not, my career in NBA not have been shorter than it should have been. I would have never got the opportunity to see these other cultures and, build relationships and friends that I've had in these other places I've been.
Did you experience the culture, the food, or did you find the nearest McDonald's and?
I'll try stuff if I go somewhere. I'll try it. If I don't like it, I won't go back to it. But I'm not scared to try something.
Face number 14 on Wednesday. You get number 7 tomorrow.
Yeah.
And you go out on the road and you play a place where they don't lose.
Yeah.
Then you got number 14 back.
Yeah.
There's no layups in this league. What do you see so far from the Big 12?
It's brutal. I looked at the schedule and I'm like, wow, because I'm
Auburn too.
Yeah, you throwing Auburn in the middle of a Big 12 schedule, and I'm preparing for ECU the other day, like last week, and now come over here and this just juggernauts every night. But I like the competition. We just gotta. We're one of them. I'm pretty sure they looking at us like you got to come in here and get a win too. So, we just got to keep rolling off wins.
DerMarr, Greg Carey with West Virginia Metro News. With your ties to the D.C., Prince George's County areas, how do you kind of ensure that West Virginia has more success recruiting from those, talent pools? I think Hugs was saying the other night, quite frankly, they hadn't done a good enough job recruiting there.
Yeah, and I think that's a big reason why Coach Miller even hired me over at Cincinnati. That in that area, I have a lot of influence. All those guys that's running those teams, they used to coach me or play with me, and a lot of them guys look up to me. And I'm looking forward to being able to at least show my face at these tournaments and events now, and I do think I'll have a big impact in that area. Just got to find out what Coach wants, and I can just try to go get it.
Are you still involved with DC Assault and any of those programs?
Yeah, well, DC Assault is no longer there, but they broke up. All the programs there, I have relationships with all of them.
DerMarr, Jared McDonald with the Charleston Gazette-Mail. I know you talked a little bit about getting to know Coach Hugs and your coach at MCI. Pittsfield's a small town. It's got that movie theater with one screen, 10 minutes from Newport.
Yeah.
What was it like when you were there with all the players there getting recruited? And that's not something you see there now.
No, it was a culture shock for sure, coming from D.C., Maryland, and senior year I got to get sent off to Pittsfield, Maine. But I think it made me tougher, and again, like I said earlier, it really prepared me for Cincinnati. Because if I came right from Maryland and had to deal with going to Cincinnati and being cussed out every day, it would have been a tougher year for me.
Favorite Huggins story? I mean, I've heard the slow roast chicken or turkey for Thanksgiving, 4-hour practice.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Huggins story?
There's so many, but
What's the one you guys always tell when you get together and have a few beers?
I don't know if I tell this to other people. I don't know if I told it to him as much, but so my freshman year, obviously my only year there, we had a guy named B.J. Grove who was a freshman with us, and he's like 6'11", like 280. He was really good in high school, but coach was on him every day. Every day he wanted B.J. to be 255. B.J. would go home for a week and come back like 275, and coach like, man, you gained 20 pounds in a weekend. Like, that's really hard. So one day we got a charge drill, and I think coach don't think guys are taking the charges the right way. So he said, no, I'll show you your methods how to do this. And he got out there, and he picked BJ, the guy who he makes run every practice. BJ don't even practice. He just running up and down the arena. And he said, run from half court, and I'm going to take this charge. And BJ, he's like 280. He runs full speed, and Hugs stand there and takes a shot, and BJ knocks Hugs under the basket. Like, he hits him hard. Well, Hugs stood in there, took it. He got up, his face is red. So it's now like if our coach can, stand there and take a charge of the biggest dude on the team, then we have no excuse, not to stand there and, take that charge. But I know BJ was looking forward to that day because he got it.
He got an opportunity to get Hugs.
Yeah. And Hugs giving him that opportunity. He could have picked me. I'm
Right.
195. He picked the big guy. And that's tough.
Awesome.
DerMarr, Sam Caniglio, Golden Blue Nation. You haven't been here too long, but the players said they were excited to work with you. What kind of rapport have you been able to build with them so far?
I'm still working on it. I've been able to have conversations with a few of them, and I'm looking forward to, catching all of them at some point and just really get to know them and learn more about them and see which way I can help them on or off the court.